Okay, Ferdy, Tony Perez coming to him. We look at the tail of the tape, and of course Ali just a couple of years older and not much difference in the weight. But perhaps to you, something interesting there in that statistics.
Bob, the most interesting statistic there is the reach. Ali's got 80 inches opposed to 73.5. That means that Frazier has got to get past that very, very long reach. Now, in his previous fight, he did that by ducking under, bobbing and weaving, and coming in shooting punches. Could he take that same kind of punishment again? That's what we're about to find out.
Well, there's the pre-fight psych going on, but Joe, Ali, sort of very relaxed, as he usually is.
Two top pros, Bob. These guys can't psych each other. They've already fought once before. If there's anybody that's psyched in that ring right now, it's the referee, Perez, who is up for his big, big night.
Well, of course, this is the rematch, and it's scheduled for 12 rounds, a non-title bout. So here we go with round one.
Ali, as you saw in his prayerful position right before every fight, he gives a Muslim prayer, and he starts off winging. This fight starts off just like the other one left off.
I think what perhaps Joe is going to try and do here with Ali's tremendous movement and left jab, very effective left jab, is to cut this ring down as much as he can, and that's more or less Joe's style. He's going to be coming at him all night. And, of course, you must remember that in the state of New York, that aggressiveness counts very heavily with the judges.
It did in the first fight. In the first fight, Joe was able to cut that ring. But Joe's coming off a tremendous knockout by Foreman, and it is really a question of can he take Ali's punches without feeling them. How much did that knockout affect him? Because he really got knocked out and hammered by George Foreman.
Well, you see Ali really up on his toes and moving, and I would say this early in this fight, a lot of action. They're not wasting much time. A while left, missed by Joe, and of course, that's the punch Ali's got to look out for, and a little shuffle comes up by the former champion.
That's just a little stuff to put on Joe to show him, listen, my legs are really in shape this time. Last time they weren't so great. This time they're terrific. You see, we came off of a 3-year layoff and had 3 fights in a row when we fought Joe Frazier too early, too soon. We were all aware that it was too soon to fight as great a fighter as Joe Frazier, but we couldn't help it. The economic dictates made us fight that fight. Now, Ali's got himself back together. Now his legs are all right again. Now he's in shape. He's fought a lot of fights, and he's ready for Joe Frazier.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Ali. He is really moving here, and of course, he's doing a little bit of holding there when they come in for the clinches.
He's got to do that. He's got to tie up Joe Frazier so Joe can't fight inside. And this is the whole strategy of this fight. In the corner, our whole concern was to keep him moving and to grab him and smother him as he comes in. Now there, you just saw a microcosm of this fight with the way we want it to go. We want him to hold on. We want him to just move, move, move. Of course, nobody tells Ali what to do. He's already figured that out all by himself. That's his strategy.
Well, the referee is Tony Perez, and he is separating, and we are in round one from Madison Square Garden. The 2 former champions, and a good left hook to the chin by Ali. And a 1-2 combination just missing over the top of Joe, and a very effective jab. And it almost looks like in the first round he's trying to just not only let him know who's the boss here, but
he's going for some hurt. He wants to put hurt on Joe so Joe can't come in with impunity like he did the first fight. First fight he was coming in, he was not getting hammered until the later rounds as hard as the first round. This time Ali's opening up right at the first round, and he is really fighting at the first round. Joe seems considerably slower than he did in the first fight.
Okay, 10 seconds remaining in round one. And once again, it's scheduled for 12. Okay, Ali, very up, fast and moving, and a tremendous pace, Ferdy, I'd say, for a heavyweight fight. A couple of guys, 212, 209 pounds in round one, and let's see if this continues.
Ali's established the motion that he wanted in the first round, and he's now going to reaffirm it. He feels that if he can move this fast and if he can stop and shoot at Joe as he's coming in, that's the pattern that the fight has to assume and maintain that pattern for 12 rounds. Can he do it against Joe Frazier? That's the question, because Joe took that away from him in the first round, in the first fight as the rounds progressed.
Tony Perez is the referee.
Relentless pressure by Frazier. Joe will just not stop. He keeps coming, keeps coming. many people thought Frazier was easy to hit. Ali said he was the hardest thing in the world to hit in the first fight. Let's see how it turns out in the second fight. He's so far not having too hard a time hitting it.
Well, it's a pretty good hook coming in. Another slap to the left side of Ali's face. And, of course, Ali's well aware that the most devastating punch by Smoking Joe is that left hook,
which sat him down on the seat of his pants. There's the shuffle again. A little taunting, a little psyching of Joe. But Joe doesn't go for any of that. I'll say Joe Frazier listened less to Ali than any fighter I ever saw. Joe Frazier just keeps coming. He only knows one thing. Ali's in front of him, and he wants to eat him up.
Look, it's amazing that Ali moves around the ring like he's a welterweight.
That's his greatness. The legs, the size, the quickness, the reflexes, the boxing knowledge, the judgment. He's just a sensational package of fighter. And the packaged in the greatest body that...
Oh, the great left hook there by Joe Frazier. And, of course, Ali coming right back and counter-punching with a couple of combinations. But that's the punch, I think, that you're going to see here from Joe Frazier. If he's at all to drop this guy like he did 3 years ago in the first fight, or hurt him, that's what he's going to do with it. He's going to do with it some combinations to the body, but that effective left hook. And you saw it just 10 seconds ago over in Joe's corner, where he hit Ali right on the button.
And he took some heavy stuff back. Ali is willing to exchange with Joe, which is a bad mistake with Joe. There, he's got him in trouble just there.
With the right hand.
A right hand, and Joe's in trouble.
Well, we're down to less than 20 seconds here.
Can he survive this round? Now what's the referee stop? Is that a standing 8 count? What is he doing? Now that round's not over. That round's not over. That's not the bell. That's not the bell. He's still got more time to go. Then why did he stop it? What was the purpose of that?
Well, he must have been hearing bells. The referee is Tony Perez.
In Madison Square Garden, they got lights on the side of the corner. Now, if those lights didn't go on, it's not 10 seconds. He's just given a reprieve. Now the bell.
Here's a look at some of the action that just took place in that exciting second round, Ferdy.
And here you see just exactly what kind of power they've got. Frazier unloads the left hook. There it is. Ali comes back with a left hook, and now watch the right hand. Drops it right in. That's what he was doing. That's what got him in trouble. Now, Tony Perez, normally one of my favorite referees, got in a lot of trouble over that, and understandably so. It was a controversial call.
Well, I think it was obvious at the end of round 2 that the stinging right hand by Ali had Joe wobbling, and then Perez stepped in, and of course it could have meant a different outcome on this fight. So here we are in round 3, and you see Ali. Look at this action right away. Ali coming in with several combinations, and Joe coming right back, and then Ali grabbing and holding Joe Frazier.
What you see there is a product of the corner work. In our corner, we say to Ali, go out and get this guy out of there. He's in trouble. And Joe Frazier's corner, they tell him, establish yourself, reestablish yourself. He got you in a little bit of trouble, go out and trade with him. Because it's the Frazier's advantage to trade punches with Ali. It's not to Ali's advantage. Ali's fight is to run, jab, and tie him up as he comes in.
Of course, Ali's a master in there, and even though he felt, and he did have Joe hurt at the end of round 2, as we're into about 20 seconds here into round 3, Ali's smart enough to know that he's not going to go punch himself out, that Joe at any time is a devastating hitter like many great champions, and he's going to be careful all the time.
Great action here, trading back and forth, and Joe is just relentless. He wants to be on top of Ali. Ali's got to keep him off. Now, Ali is a master of pacing, as you said, Bob, and he knows very well he's not going to fight 3 minutes of every round. He fights, and then he holds. There's the characteristic hold of Ali. Ali with his hand around the back of Joe's neck, which is, by the way, illegal. Another complaint that Frazier had against Tony Perez. As I say, Tony Perez is one of my favorite referees. He just had an off night. Everybody can have a bad night, and this was his bad night, maybe of his career, because Tony Perez is a quality world championship style referee, and I would have him in my fights anytime.
Less than a minute to go in round 3 at Madison Square Garden. It's scheduled for 12. There's a good left hook by Frazier to the chin of Ali as they tie up one another in the neutral corner.
That's the kind of left hook that blew out Ali's chin in the first fight. He had a lump the size of an orange on the side of his jaw from that left hook.
No question, Ali fighting like the Ali of old.
Look at those legs, Bob. Those legs, those are $1 million legs. $75 million legs, to be exact. Look at the bounce.
Well, the first 2 rounds looked very much like they were in favor of Ali, and I would say, Freddie, that pretty much this is Ali's in round 3 also.
Ali is really doing his fight. He's dominating, but Joe has a great deal of patience. He knows it's going to go 12 rounds or less, and he knows he's got time. He has to wear him out. He has to make Ali stop dancing and get off those toes.
We're coming up to the end of round 3, less than 15 seconds now. And Ali still jabbing and moving, holding.
And you just saw one of Ali's most underrated punches, a little sneaky uppercut. There he goes again.
And that's just about it for round 3. Round 4 underway at Madison Square Garden. It's scheduled for 12, and once again, Ali coming out with a quick pace, going right after the head of Joe Frazier. It's been a very quickly paced fight thus far. Perhaps I would say these guys putting on much better of a show earlier than they did 3 years ago.
No question about it. Ali is much more confident. His legs are much more together, and he's punching harder and with greater authority. He's really trying to get Joe Frazier out of there early. His thinking being, if I can't get him out of here early, at least I'm going to put so much hurt on him that he isn't going to be too much trouble in the late rounds.
There were a couple of questions going into this fight. That one was that there was a rumor that Ali's right hand had been hurt, and the other was the tremendous punishment that Joe Frazier had taken 3 years ago. Tremendous swelling of the head, several weeks in the hospital in Philadelphia. What was the feeling at the time? Was Joe's head all right? Was Ali's hand really hurt, or was it just rumor?
Ali had trouble with his hands ever since he got out of the retirement. As far as Joe is concerned, he's such a strong man that he recovered very well from all of the fights that he had. We really weren't worried about Frazier because Frazier is Joe Frazier. That's all you can say about him. He is the quintessence of a strong man with the ability to just take punishment and keep coming. Ali's hands were a source of trouble, but fortunately they were well enough in this fight to be able to punch as hard as he wanted.
Ali continuing to bounce around, Ferdy, and still throwing leather, and Joe pouring in on the former champion Muhammad Ali.
And here is poor Tony Perez doing as good as he can to separate him, and boy, what a job he has tonight. Because if there's one thing that he's going to be faced with is Ali's plan to tie him up as he comes inside. There he goes again now. He will put his hand behind Frazier's head, which is illegal, and Tony has a lot of trouble with that right now.
He also leans on him a little bit, doesn't he, Ferdy? He has perhaps to rest a little bit.
He has to. They've got to lean on each other, and it's a way of wearing each other out. Now, Ali is, there he goes, with his hand behind his head. Ali leans his whole body, upper body on Joe as Joe bends down.
And Perez is talking to him right here, perhaps telling him that
get his hand out.
Enough of that.
Get his hand out from behind Joe's head, but it's just a natural reflex to do that. Joe's got a small head, and he puts it right into your chest, and it's just a natural place to grab him.
Well, we're in round 4, and these two ex-champions putting on a tremendous fight here with a quick pace right from round 1. Less than 30 seconds now. It's scheduled for 12.
There's that straight right hand that Ali loves to shoot without a jab in front of it. It's dangerous. He's going to get hit if he keeps doing that, but he's so fast that he can get away with it.
Less than 10 seconds now. There have been no knockdowns, and it's scheduled for 12, and it's coming from Madison Square Garden in New York. Okay, the bell for round 5. Ali Frazier, and it's scheduled for 12. It is a non-title bout, of course. These two fellas hoping perhaps one of them coming out the winner here will get a shot at the present champion, George Foreman.
George Foreman's an awesome force. He's already bounced Joe Frazier off the canvas like a basketball.
Good hook to the head there by Frazier.
And Ali is dying to get at George Foreman.
Joe Frazier moving in all the time. He's been doing it since the opening round, and we are in round 5. Another good solid left hook. Ali perhaps looking a little bit backing away, still shuffling though.
Oh, that hurt Ali. when you see Ali move away from an encounter like that, you know Ali gets hurt. But he has the greatest recuperative powers I've ever seen in a heavyweight. Joe doesn't let any of that bother him. He comes right back in. He doesn't think. He doesn't even have to think. He just comes in like a machine, throwing that thunderous left hook. There it is again. He just keeps bouncing off Ali's chin. What in the world makes Ali take those punches? I'll never know. They were good enough to knock out half the men that Joe Frazier fought, and here he is taking those right on the chin.
Well, the pace of this fight has not changed. We are in round 5. Joe still bearing in, smoking Joe, and Ali still moving to his right, then to his left, sticking out the jab. There it comes, and Joe trying to hook as Ali drops the right hand and perhaps catch the former champion on the chin.
And the greatest thing about Ali is the way he can move to either side and still punch off those moves, because he has such lightning reflexes and a great ability to punch off of going in either direction. That's very confusing to a fighter. Doesn't seem to confuse Joe Frazier too much. He's still standing in front of him, throwing that thunderous left hook. This time to the head, then to the body, and then Ali ties him up again. The tactic over and over again in the first 4 rounds.
Less than a minute now in round 5.
And I think Joe Frazier's doing much better, Bob. How about you?
I think that after a slow start, and I think Frazier has been notorious for slow starts, Ferdy, and throughout all his career. In fact, Joe looking a little puffy now around the face. And I guess if somebody was sticking that jab in your face for 5 rounds, you'd start to get a little puffy.
Good point.
Of course, with Ali with a tremendous advantage, not only in reach and height, Joe trying at times to get downstairs and work to the body of Ali.
The only way he can slow him out.
Less than 30 seconds now in round 5.
Obviously, Joe's tactic is starting to pay off. He's down to the body, and Ali is slowing down a little bit. Not
a much better round for Joe Frazier as we're seconds are counting down on round 5. The bell just about coming up at this point. I think the tide has turned a little bit here. Ali dominating Dr. Pacheco. The early rounds of this, it's billed as the North American heavyweight title. It's scheduled for 12. Ali perhaps, as you had him ahead, maybe 3 of the first 4 rounds. And then Joe coming on the end of round 4, and then perhaps his best round in round number 5.
I don't think anybody in Madison Square Garden has any doubt that the best part of this fight's ahead of them, because there's a great deal of speculation as to what would have happened had Perez let them fight with the last 20 seconds to go when Joe apparently was on the way to a knockout or at least a knockdown. But Joe, in his characteristic fashion, has begun to pull this fight out.
Well, they haven't stopped swinging, and we're at the halfway mark here in round 6, and you wonder, Ferdy, are these guys ever going to get tired? Are they going to slow down? Is Ali going to stop dancing as you see him on his toes, and the jab being very effective? Oh, and a good 1-2 by there with a jab, and Joe coming right back at him, and as they go to Ali's corner, and Ali holds again with the hands to the back of the head.
As long as he's dancing, Ali's got that terrific reach advantage. That punch right there, that combination is what he's got to do all night long. Keep him off with the jab, land the right hand, and as Joe comes in, smother him. Again, the right hand over the head. Again, Perez talking. Again, Perez warning Ali, don't put that hand up there.
No question here, is 1:30 remaining in round 6, that Ali looks like the Ali of old.
Well, not many people tell Ali what to do inside or outside the ring, and certainly Tony Perez is having his hands filled tonight. He's still talking. Still, Ali has got his hand around Joe's head. Another source of controversy building up here in Madison Square Garden as these 2 people are going at it toe-to-toe again.
You know, as much as Ali throws the combinations, the quick combinations, the quick left and the right, followed by the left again, Joe is just a great counterpuncher and a great aggressive fighter. He just comes right back. You can't hurt the guy.
It just seems like he shakes them off. Incredible as it may seem, he is shaking off Ali's punches as if they were just pity pats and coming right through him.
1 minute to go in round 6. It's scheduled for 12. And as much as you look at the way the pace has gone on this fight, Dr. Pacheco, not a mark, not a knockdown through 6 rounds in this very excellent heavyweight fight.
Now, you you wonder how Frazier can take that. He just got hammered with two good right hands there in the middle of all those flurries. And yet he's right from him. There he is again, Luke.
It appears, Purdy, that Ali actually in this round and some earlier rounds is, although Joe's effective, that Ali is out hitting him about 4-1.
That's it. He's out hitting him, out speeding him. He's hitting him much faster than Joe can get his punches off.
Oh, okay, Purdy, less than 10 seconds as we wind down round 6. Okay, Joe up on his feet. We're ready for round 7. It's scheduled for 12, and up to this point, it's been mostly Ali on our official scorecards. Ali perhaps out of the first 6 rounds winning all but one, maybe one of them even. So as we go down to the bottom half of these 12-rounder, Dr. Pacheco, it's time for Joe to get moving. He can't afford to. There's a good left hook.
Good left hook of the kind that knocked him right on the seat of his pants in the first round, but in the first fight. But there's Ali up on his toes again. That's very discouraging for Joe. And again, a good left hook by Joe. Joe's opening this round in tremendous shape. It's as if every round is the first round for Joe Frazier. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very disconcerting to see a fighter get up off his stool like if it was the first round and 6 have not gone by. Joe is just there with his tremendous energy and his character and his guts and his drive. Very discouraging when you've been hitting him as much as Ali's been hitting him.
We're in round 7, and a good round by Joe Frazier as we see him here, perhaps picking up the pace a little bit more, getting to Ali with the left hook, getting inside, trying to break up the holding Ali in the clinches as Tony Perez, the referee, separates them. A good round here for Joe Frazier, even though it's number 7, could really instill some confidence in him and perhaps turn this thing around.
Now you see Ali hollering at Tony Perez, and what he's hollering is he's putting his head in my face. Although I must say that Ali has a disconcerting way also of talking to Frazier all during this time. Right now he just looked down at the audience and winked, the thing that Ali does a lot.
Well, he's done very little of that in this because he's had very little time because he's had a relentless Joe Frazier chasing him around that 20-foot ring.
Ali's strategy with the referee is, who has to vote on this fight, if Joe Frazier is going to criticize me for putting my hand around his head, I'm going to criticize him for putting his head in my face. That'll neutralize it and neutralize the referee's voting. Very smart on Ali's part.
Less than a minute and a good round for Joe Frazier, the former champion, along with Muhammad Ali. We're in round 7, and it is scheduled for 12 at Madison Square Garden in New York.
And Joe talking back to Ali now, something he very, very rarely does. Joe Frazier rarely opens his mouth, but when it is, he's something intimidating in his voice.
You wonder, there he is, smiling. Perhaps a show of confidence by Joe. Come on, Ali, come after me. Maybe that's what he's telling him.
Ali said to him, they told me you were all through, Joe, and Joe says, they lied to you, champ, they lied. Here I am again.
I think there's no question that, as we said, as you've seen here, it's been a good round for Joe Frazier. He needs a good round. He's been trailing early in this fight. Almost took a slap at Tony Perez there. Perez again talking to Muhammad Ali. 10 seconds remaining in round 7. A good round for Joe Frazier. Got to do a tremendous amount for his confidence as the bell sounds, ending round 7. Okay, we follow Joe Frazier with a smile on his face, Bertie, and I think he's had a good round, and he knows it. Perhaps his confidence. Let's look at that great left hook thrown by Joe in round 7.
Watch it come from nowhere. Here it comes as he winds up. There it is from left field. You see that roundhouse punch that Ali doesn't see coming. Now, that's very odd for Ali. He's got such great peripheral vision. But he was so busy punching with his left hand, he didn't see it. And it really landed with crunching authority.
Here it comes again.
Oh, that's the kind that breaks your jaw.
But look at Ali with that great stamina that he has, being able to take a punch. Just look at his face, not a mark on it. And there's the face of Joe Frazier.
And you saw the two neutralizing effects. His hand around his head bringing him in, and Joe with a hook to the ribs. So they're both two forces going in different directions. Ali to smother, and Frazier to pummel his ribs.
Okay, round 8. We're at Madison Square Garden in New York. Ali against Joe Frazier. Tremendous fight through the first 7 rounds. And look at Joe coming out.
Look at Ali is standing flat-footed and ready to go at it. You see all that series of combinations? That means I'm through dancing. Here it is. Let's get it on.
Well, no question question that round 7 was the best for Joe Frazier, and no question it's instilled some new confidence in him because he's going right after him.
And he's paying a price. He's paying a price because he really got hit a lot in that first opening seconds. But now that's Joe's fight. That's what he wants. He wants him to go toe-to-toe. And that's not Ali's fight. Ali's having second thoughts now, backing up, going back to his regular routine now.
Well, I think with a great round, Dr. Pacheco, for Joe Frazier in 7, he's got some added respect out of the champion. And, of course, he is pumped up right now. Joe Frazier is.
He doesn't want to let Joe get too brave. In the corner, Angelo Dundee tells him, don't let him get brave. Get out there and put something on the sucker to begin with. Don't let him think that he's got you cornered. And, therefore, Ali comes out flat-footed, lays about 25 punches on him, and then goes back to his regular dancing around. Now, this is Ali looking to land. When you see Ali spread his legs and dig in, his toes into the canvas, he's looking to throw real bombs. The rest of this, that flicking sort of annoying stuff that's not going to hurt you, this kind of thing when he just flicks, that doesn't hurt. When you see him spread his legs and dig his toes into the canvas, that's when you know Ali's going to let that fly. There they are again, back with their routine, and there's the poor, overworked Tony Perez trying to make a fight out of this.
1:30 remaining in round 8. It's coming from Madison Square Garden of New York. 2 former ex-champions, Muhammad Ali with his back to you, and Joe Frazier pouring in like he has since the opening of round 1.
You see the way he came in, Bob? He came in like an old Archie Moore with his arms crossed in front of him. See that? See that? That's the old Archie Moore.
Joe pumping some good shots to the body there. Ali just going to the head with the jab and the counter punching and the 1-2 combination. Not much of a body puncher, Muhammad Ali.
Any time in his career, he hardly ever goes to the body. He defies all the rules of boxing. He keeps his left hand low. He goes away from punches. He never punches to the body, and yet he may have been the greatest fighter of all time.
There's a lot of leaning back also. Slips punches by leaning back.
Yes, exactly the opposite of what you should do, but when you're 6'4" and you have those quick reflexes, you can afford to do that. Little guys try to do that and get knocked out.
Less than 30 seconds remaining in round 8.
Well, he's putting on him coming in. Look at this. Look at this. At least 8 or 9 unanswered punches before Frazier can get in at all, and then he gets smothered when he gets in. That's the key to this fight. Make him pay the price to come in and smother him once he gets in. Now watch what he does. Bang, bang. Is he smothering him again? And all that Joe can do is a small little right hand to the ribs.
Less than 5 seconds, and that's it for round 8.
Oh, he just got hammered with a right hand by Frazier at the bell.
Here's a replay, and as the bell ended the round 8, a stinging right hand by the usually left-hooking Joe Frazier, Dr. Pacheco. There it is, right on the button.
That puts a lot of hurt on you to go back into the corner with that. But Ali also takes a great shot, so he's ready. He knows he's taken that round good. Now he's got to dominate in round 9.
And we're about ready for round 9.
And look at Joe. Can't wait to go. Just like if it was the first round. Look at him. Look at him. He waves. Come on, sucker. This is my round.
Okay, here we go. Round 9, the opening seconds. Bob Halloran at Madison Square Garden along with Dr. Ferdy Pacheco.
Did you tell these two guys don't like each other, Bob? They are two guys that are really into this fight for personal reasons. Ali sustained his first real defeat at his hands, although he'd been beaten by Norton, but he figured it was a broken jaw and a fluke. The first guy to really beat him toe-to-toe was Joe Frazier. He wants it back. And Joe, for his part, would fight this fight for nothing. He really didn't like Ali.
Well, there's Ali. Just Joe missing Wiley, and Ali really coming on here.
Look at what Ali's putting on Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier just wants to come in, just wants to get close, is willing to pay the price so he can land his hammering shots on Ali. Ali's not letting him get by cheap.
It's just pot shotting by Ali. 1-2. Here he comes again. And Joe once again missing as they go into the clinch. And Tony Perez, the referee's got to separate it.
That left hook is devastating when it lands, but it's very tiring when you miss it. And he's been missing an awful lot. Joe is slowing down a great deal and is getting hit by almost everything that Ali's throwing.
A little bit of blood coming from the nostrils of Ali here. Was that serious, as you recall?
No. A little bit of blood when you get hit as much as he's been getting hit is nothing. If it pours out, it means you've got a broken nose.
We're in round 9 at Madison Square Garden. It's been a great one. 2 former champions. It's scheduled for 12.
And a lot of good action to go because these two guys are just warming to the task. Joe refusing to admit that Ali is the superior fighter tonight, refusing to succumb to all of the punching power of Ali. Ali, for his part, is willing to fight his fight knowing he's going to win if he can keep this up for 12 rounds. And right now it looks like he can keep it up for 14 rounds.
Well, a great right at the end of the previous round by Joe Frazier. And he came out winging at the start of this round, round 9, where we're about into the final minute. But it didn't deter Ali because he just put a halt to it and got the old respect back. And he's back in there, and Joe's still coming at him.
Joe's face is lumping up. Under the eyes are becoming swollen. Over the eyes are starting to shut into slits. But that doesn't keep Joe Frazier out. These two guys epitomize the word champion.
This is round 9, but it looks like round 1. This is the pace we saw at the opening bell. In fact, for the opening 3 rounds. Great condition on both the parts of both of these fighters.
Again, you're left to wonder what would have happened if he'd have had that 20 seconds to pound Joe when he was in trouble at the end of the second round. Would all of this have been necessary if he'd have let that go?
Well, Purdy, I think that's something that boxing fans will be talking about perhaps for some time to come in this second encounter between these two great fighters, both former champions. So less than 10 seconds now. We are about at the end of round 9 from the Garden. Ready to go, and Tony Perez, the referee, signaling Ali, let's get this action underway.
And once again, you saw Drew Boudini Brown wait till after the bell, exhorting and talking to Ali. He is a sensational help in the corner in that he keeps you right on your feet and he keeps the cheering going. Ali has got a great corner in that Angelo is a great brain who can tell him how to fight and add to his knowledge.
Pretty good left hook there in Frazier's corner, thrown by Smoking Joe, which made Ali grab a little bit.
He better do something. He's way behind in this fight, and he's got to catch up. Ali's at least 6-2-1 or 6-3 fight. He's almost got this fight won if he survives to the 12. Now, Joe knows that. Joe's got to come up with something. He cannot keep fighting this fight. He's got to keep turning it around somehow.
We are in round 10. There have been no knockdowns. There has been neither boxer has been cut, although Ali has been bleeding just slightly from the nose, and Joe Frazier has constantly had the ice pack for some swelling around the eyes and the forehead.
Question is now, can Ali keep up this blistering pace of the first 9 rounds? Because he has been punching with great authority and great speed, and still he's on his toes.
Being in his corner, Ferdy, did you or Angelo or anybody tell him at this time, look, you're way out in front, just coast, don't get careless?
Never tell a fighter he's out in front. Never. Angelo Dundee has a philosophy I adopted. You're always behind and you always need the next round. As soon as you start coasting, you lose fights.
What about Ali as we come to the halfway mark of round 10? Any conversations coming from him? We see him in several fights of the past, and this one just a little bit talking to his opponent, but does he say much in the corner?
No, he's very quiet in the corner. He listens quietly to Angelo.
Good left hook there by Joe.
Hammering blows by Joe. Joe's going for a knockout here. Right hand to the side, left hook with all he's got. Missed with the left hook, and still on top of him. He maintains the distance after the referee breaks him, so he won't waste time and get hit a lot coming in. Very smart on Joe's part.
Well, he caught him right under the chin, but then had he connected with that roundhouse hook that missed, round 10 might have been rather interesting right here.
Rather interesting. He did connect in the 15th round of the first fight, and we know what happened to Ali.
He visited the canvas for one of the few times in his career.
One of the few times, but he got up fighting. He just got hammered again. Joe is coming on much better this round. I like what I see in Joe. His determination, he's putting much more authority in his punches, and he's keeping closer to Ali so he doesn't get hit so much coming in.
Well, based on what's happened thus far through 9 rounds, it's been mostly Ali, so with round 10, 11, and 12 remaining, as we come down to the final seconds of round 10, Frazier's really got to come out swinging.
Ali, for the first time, looks a little tired.
Round 10 just about over. The bell for round
he's going right there. Good left hook by Joe. Again, the pity pat of Ali and the usual right and left that doesn't stop Joe Frazier for a minute. Joe right back on top of it.
Well, according to what you've seen, I guess you said it, I think, a couple of rounds earlier, it's almost going to be a knockdown, and it's going to be two very, very impressive rounds for Joe Frazier to have any chance at all of winning this fight, the second encounter between these two champions, ex-champions.
Again, Ali keeping that distance between them if he can, and if he can't, grabbing his head and pulling him in. He not only waits till he gets there, he actually pulls him in with that hand around his neck. He pulls his head into his chest and holds him.
Well, if you recall their fight 3 years ago that Joe Frazier won by unanimous decision, taking the crown away from Ali, round 11 that we're in now. If you look at this great action, round 11 was when Frazier put Ali on the canvas.
Devastating action here. As we were talking, Ali just put a series of punches on Frazier, should have stopped the truck. And there he is, still there throwing those roundhouse punches at Ali, desperation punches at this point. If he lands, they're not as going to be as effective as it looks on the screen because they're roundhouse arm punches, not shoulder punches. Look at that devastating combination by Ali. And again, the grabbing and the holding, and poor Perez trying to get this fight together.
Two great athletes here. Superb condition by both of them. Keeping up this pace as you're looking at here in round 11, that's been much the story through all 10 previous rounds, and now into round 11 as we go into the final minute of round 11. It's coming from New York's Madison Square Garden. This is Bob Allen along with Dr. Ferdy Pacheco, and I'm sure you're enjoying it as we have. Still jabbing, still Joe coming on with wild left hooks, trying to land, get to the inside, get to the chin of Ali, perhaps slow him up and score some points, and perhaps try to impress the judges here in the two final rounds. Incidentally, Ferdy, according to New York scoring, this could end in a draw. I think that's highly unlikely, but that is possible.
Highly unlikely.
Joe again coming in, being the aggressor. New York scoring, aggressiveness counts with the judges here. Tony Castellano and Jack Gordon. Now less than 10 seconds remaining in round 11. About to get underway. This is it. There's no holding back here. The final round from Madison Square Garden. You had a look at Muhammad Ali. There's a look at Joe Frazier with the ice pack still. What's it going to be? Is it going to be Muhammad Ali, the winner of this second encounter between these two former great champions? Or is it going to be Joe Frazier, perhaps the winner going on to meet the present champion, George Foreman? Ferdy, what is the strategy? What are you telling? What is everybody telling Muhammad Ali right here?
We're telling him we need round 12, and he's telling us, are you kidding? I'm way ahead of this fight.
Okay, they touch gloves in the center with the referee, Tony Perez, and here they come out swinging. Well, that's it. There's no tomorrow after this.
A mark of a great champion, Ali. He knows he's ahead, but he's not about to give anything to Frazier because this is a grudge match. And they're two men, and they're really playing out their manhood here. They're on the line, and Ali's not about to run from Joe. Joe says, here I am, lay it out with me, and Ali is willing to oblige. This is the last round. Joe knows he's got to have a knockout, and Ali knows he can knock Joe Frazier out if he gets careless.
Well, it was 3 years ago when these two met, when Joe Frazier won the unanimous decision, that he knocked Ali down in the 15th round, and you wonder if Ali is perhaps thinking about that, remembering what happened on that fatal evening when he lost his championship.
I don't think he's ever forgotten getting knocked on the seat of his pants. He's not about to let it happen tonight because he's not getting careless. Joe is throwing all caution to the wind and coming right after Ali, almost taunting, almost daring him to throw anything he's got, willing to exchange blow for blow, knowing that he can knock Ali out and not believing that Ali can hurt him. He's certainly taken everything Ali can throw through 12 rounds, and now here he is trying to pull it out, desperate. Ali smothering him again, almost as if to say, no matter how mad you get and how much you want it, I got the formula to beat you, pal.
Oh, has a great left hook again, and it comes back with a shot to the belly. The midsection of Ali, all thrown by Joe Frazier, who's desperate here. He perhaps knows. His corner here maybe has told him he is trailing. He needs to knock him down. He perhaps needs a miracle here.
Ali willing to stay.
Ali missing again, Ferdy Pacheco with a left hook.
Bob, Ali, you know, is tired when he's willing to stay in a corner and get hammered by this tiger that's on top of him. Normally, he would have danced his way right out of there, but he, like he just done, he is willing to stay in that corner. That means he's tired.
But despite it all, if he's tired, he's still throwing. He's still, as you see him, up on his toes, bouncing around, not doing the Ali shuffle. A good right hand by the former champion Ali, and look at him go. Tremendous!
Look at what punishment he's taking. Look at the punishment he's taking trying to catch it. Look at this fighting retreat. This is what you call a fighting withdrawal.
Less than 40 seconds remaining. This is the final round, and they're not stopping these two fighters. Both hungry for victory, and Ali now with the confidence. There's the shuffle we've been waiting for.
I just said, I've got this fight one jump. There's nothing you can do to take it away from me. And you know what? He's right. He's got this fight won. He's got at least an 8-4 fight here. He cannot lose this fight at this point.
Seconds are counting down. 18-17. There has been no knockdowns in this fight, and it doesn't look like there are going to be any. It is going to go the distance as we get under 10-9-8 seconds. A tremendous fight in the sellout crowd of 21,000 will be on its feet at Madison Square Garden. That's the bell. Well, that's it. It's all over. 12 exciting rounds for a non-title fight between two former great champions. Joe Frazier, you just had a look at him, and Ali and his brother, Houdini Brown. Pandemonium. Everybody jumping into the ring. The crowd still on its feet cheering. Okay, Joe Bostic is the ring announcer at Madison Square Garden. They have counted the votes. Tony Castellano, a judge, Jack Gordon, and the referee, Tony Perez. And here